Hi guys, Bobby here from Peak Performance Academy, and today's Coach's Corner, Training and Nutrition 101. So basically what we're going to talk about here is just a general overview of our nutrition and training. So what we need to know as the client, as the consumer, as the person watching this video, what do you need to know to help you with your nutrition? Very, very simple, guys. Your nutrition isn't very, very complicated. It's about getting the basics right, getting that foundation right. So when we look at our nutrition from a foundational standpoint, the first thing we need to think about is, okay, what quality of foods are coming into our diet, and that this is going to be really, really important. So what quality of foods are coming into the diet in terms of, okay, are we getting adequate vegetables into our diet? Are we getting adequate fruits into our diet? If we're not, and you say portion control, we say, are we getting a cup of vegetables in each main meal of the day? If you're not, that's the first place to start. If you're not getting at least 2 to 3 portions of fruit per day, that's the first place to start. The next thing we will look at then is we'll say, okay, what's our preference when we eat our foods? Are we preference towards carbohydrates in most of our meals? Are we preference towards protein or fats? How we'll know that is just look at your plate of food and say, okay, is the most of your plate made up of rice, potatoes, oats, cereals, or is your plate made up of lean fish, meats, legumes, lentils? Is it biasing towards protein or carbohydrates? If it's a bias towards carbohydrates in most of your meals, then start to distribute some protein in there and some fats in there. So very, very simple, guys, just adding a nice piece of protein to each of your main meals. That could be breakfast in the morning, adding some eggs, adding some protein powder, adding some yogurt, adding whatever. There you could add something to lunchtime, some lean fish, some lean meats, prawns, salmon, steak. You could go for some chicken if you wanted to go leaner on the meats, and maybe turkey breast, something like that. Then dinner, do exactly the same. So you now change the format of the way of say the landscape of your plate is changing. And then the next thing you need to look at is, okay, where are my fats coming from? Am I getting any oils in my diet, like olive oil, coconut oil, any of the nut oils? So maybe adding that in as we're cooking. The next thing we look at then is, are you getting some fats from maybe fattier fish and meat, like your salmon and your steaks? And then maybe adding in a little bit of your nut butters or maybe some nuts in your diet as well. So you're getting a nice wide spectrum of fats within your whole plan. And that's kind of a basic starting foundation for everybody. Before we even talk about calories, and everybody talks about calories and distribution and how many carbs I should have and fats I should have and protein I should have, this is the starting point. If you can look at it from the way I'm explaining it to you and start there, then you will set yourself up for success, because you're suddenly changing the whole landscape of your diet. And then we can start to look at calories and macro distribution within your food plan and within your nutrition. When it comes to training, guys, very, very different times for everybody. What I would say, my advice on training would be some form of resistance training 2 to 3 times a week. If that's a kettlebell class, if that's a strength-based class, if it's something that you're going to put resistance through muscle, at least 2 to 3 times a week. You want to challenge muscle groups in the body. So something for the lower, something for the upper, 2 to 3 times a week is absolutely fine. If you haven't got the ability to have, or got the luxury to have any weights at home, you can look at more body weight challenging exercises. You got your air squats, you got your push-ups, you got all that kind of stuff you can do, and at least challenging muscle 2 to 3 times a week. Then we look at the aerobic system and challenging the aerobic system, challenging the conditioning pathways, and we look at it from maybe running to sprinting to high intensity intervals, 20 seconds on, 40 seconds off, 2-to-1 ratio there, something like that that's really going to challenge your aerobic system. So mix it up. You can do walking, absolutely fine. You can go for a run to challenge your aerobic system a little bit above walking level, and then maybe some high intensity intervals to challenge the anaerobic system. So you're challenging the 3 pathways there. Just like your nutrition, you're looking at where you are currently, what you do, and you're building on that, and you're improving them pathways. Because we're not just built on one system, we're built on 3 to 4 systems within the body when you look at aerobic conditioning. So that's where I would look preference to training as well, guys. We can get into more detail in training in further videos, but just for a starting point for everybody and getting a foundation, that's what I would recommend you do. That puts you training possibly 4 or 5 times a week, doing some sort of activity. It doesn't have to be crazy long. It can be something between 20 minutes going up to 45 minutes, absolutely fine, and it just gets you started. If you're starting from zero, don't go to 45 minutes. Start from zero, go 15 minutes, start from zero, go 20 minutes, and build yourself up there. Exactly the same as your nutrition. If you have a highly processed diet, a highly calorific diet that's not really nutrient dense, then you need to start slowly, adding one thing at a time and building yourself up, just like adding a little bit more vegetables, starting week 1 and just doing that, adding a bit of fruit in week 2, adding some maybe some less carbohydrates on your plate and a little bit more bias towards protein on your plate, a little bit more bias towards fats. So it's just a matter of starting from where you are. If you're at zero, then slowly. You might be a little bit along the road. You can start to move things along a little bit quicker and make bigger changes. So that's, again, preference to you guys and individual to you. It's exactly the same with training. Okay guys, if you like what you hear, you find us at peakperformancecanarian.com, all our social media platforms, and our YouTube channel, Peak Performance Academy. Also our podcast, Reach Your Peak Podcast, which is live every Monday at 6 p.m. Please subscribe, review guys, and share on your social media platforms. Again, any questions, please direct message us below, and we will be more than happy to help you answer any questions you want. Anybody interested in online coaching, in training and nutrition, that is available to you too. So please shout out to us and we will get back to you, and we'll book in a consultation and go through where you are currently on your journey. Have a great week guys, and we'll catch you next week.